I didn't know anything about Trump's policies. I just voted for him. Nah, MAGA, you can't get away with that with me, right? Because you were too loud before the election about how it was going to make the country better. So when you hear MAGA say things like that, you know what that is? That's somebody that's a coward. They're afraid to stand up and align themselves visually, right? For everybody to know with all the crappy shit you see happening right now, they know it doesn't look good, but they don't have the backbone to still align themselves with it. So now it becomes, I didn't know no better. You knew enough to be loud about it before the election, so I know enough about it to keep calling you out on it now. Stop making these people feel comfortable. The problem is people like MAGA folk who go all in on stuff like that, and then when it gets really, really bad, they want to act like, well, I didn't know any better. You're not a child. You're a grown-ass adult. You're not a child. So I'm not going to treat you like one. And what do conservatives always talk about? Personal responsibility. And that's what I expect you to have too. But I'm not going to let any MAGA get away with, I didn't know. Well, you should have known, or you should have stayed your ass at home.
So recently, it's been trending a lot lately on the Hodge twins, right? Abby and Preach, they dropped a video, and then that was adopted by other content creators, and they talked about the grift that's going on with Black MAGA, right? If the internet gods were to guarantee me $1 million, 1 million subscribers, whatever it is, right? A guarantee. When I talk about movie stuff, I'm like, I'll make Chris Hemsworth cry with my words every day. I don't give a damn. I don't care. I like Chris Hemsworth, but if the internet gods were to guarantee that I'll be successful and rich or whatever, I'll do it, right? But without that guarantee, nah, I can't do it. But that's a grift. When you're saying things that you don't really believe, but you're doing it anyway because, it makes money. These content creators are saying things that are against the norm. I'm not saying that they don't really believe it. A lot of people really believe these things. Like, there are very conservative black people in the world. A lot of people don't realize that overall the black community is very conservative, right? But with these grifters, what they're doing is they're going against the grain because there's money to be made off of that. So if a certain community is saying one thing and another community is saying the other, well, then if you're a part of that other community and then you start saying the thing that the first community is saying, then you can get some popularity on that. For example, if you are hearing white conservatives or MAGA conservatives, whatever you want to have it, if they're saying a bunch of talking points on this side of the aisle, and then black people on the other side of the aisle saying the opposite, right? But then you get a black person to say and validate what the other side is saying. There's money to be made there. Everybody knows it. Even the people that they're validating.
Y'all, I'm finna say two things that y'all think aren't related, but they're absolutely related. And the common thread is going to be that they're rooted in white supremacy and elitism, okay? Mean Girls and Pilates, and the reason why Pete Hegseth doesn't want black and brown people or women in the military. Now, before you say I'm out of my mind and I'm deranged and maybe I need to put on a 10 hat or go 5150, let me cook, okay? For starters, I'm a 24-year retired Air Force veteran, right? I came from a family that did not have the money to send me to college. I did do well in school. I did get scholarships. I could have went off scholarships, but because I had a family that was struggling financially, I was a little bit scared to go to college because I was afraid to take out loans if I needed to, because I had seen how loans had put a lot of my family in debt in ways that they could not get out of, and I didn't want any parts of that, right? So I decided to go into the military. Long story short, what was supposed to be 4 years turned into 24. Okay, in those 24 years, I managed to get 3 degrees completely free. All right, I got 100% tuition. My 3 degrees were completely free. I managed to get at least 2 different certifications completely free. I got my GI Bill and transferred my GI Bill to my son, who can now go to college completely free. I'm also a 100% disabled veteran, permanent and total. So my son can also go to school based off of Chapter 35, I believe it is. completely free. I was able to buy a house with the VA home loan, okay? And because the VA home loan guarantees up to $450,000, and I bought my house in Texas a little over, coming up on almost 20 years ago. We're a few years shy of 20 years that I bought that house. So I have about 350,000 left of that I can put into another home loan, guaranteed home loan, because you can use up to 400. I think it's 400,000, not 450,000. So I might have 250. I don't know. Anyway, point is, I amassed all of that while I was in the military, plus hard and soft skills that made me very marketable when I retired, so much so that I was able to walk into a training director role. And when I decided that the workforce just wasn't for me, I was able at 44, actually right before I turned 43 years old, I was able to say, you know what, I don't want to go back to work anymore, and I don't have to for the rest of my life. Now, you may be wondering what all that has to do with what I just said. All of that has to do with what I just said because there are plenty more black people who have came into the military, black and brown people, and women who have came in the military who played that same long game. So not only are they pissed that these people are excelling in rank within the military and quote unquote taking their positions from them, when ain't nobody taking shit from them. We're just good at our jobs and got promoted on merit. We're also creating generational wealth in ways that they didn't never want us to create generational wealth. Hence Jim Crow and segregation and all of the other things they had going on, right? And burning down anything, any town, any black town that tried to do well for itself, right? So there's that. So that's why they want them out the military. You could talk about other things, and I'm not saying the other things don't have merit, but that's the biggest reason, because we're creating wealth and we're in places that they don't think we should be. Think about the Jay-Z song, the Beyonce and Jay-Z album, The Carters, and the song Nice, where he says, time to remind me I'm black again, huh? All that talking back, I'm too arrogant, huh? They have felt that way since Barack Obama became president, because they assumed that we were proud that we finally got one black president, that we were being arrogant. And we weren't. We were just being proud. Right? So that's the military piece, right? Now, going back to Pilates and Mean Girls, same concept, different font, right? Same racism, same classism, same elitism, different font. Most women that take Pilates believe Pilates is an expensive course that should be reserved for people who are affluent and have money. So when they see black and brown women in there, they naturally assume we're not affluent and we don't have money. And I know, baby, I be pissing them off coming, because I keep braids, locks, sew-ins, all types of different hairstyles. And typically my nails will be done. They're not done now because I waited too late to take them off and schedule my appointment with my tech. But that's okay, because next weekend I'll be back to being a baddie. Well, I'm still a baddie, but y'all know what I'm saying. Anyway, point is, they see me with the long nails that they assume are ghetto, with the different hairstyles that they assume are ghetto, me walking in because it's hot in there when we get to work, and at least for me, with this jacket on, but when I take it off, I got on bra tops with abs underneath. You know what I mean? And I'm wearing most of my crystal copper bracelets and things like that. Long story short, I'm unapologetically black when I walk into those spaces, waist beads and all, and they see that and they think I don't belong. I shouldn't be there. Why am I there? Why am I taking classes in mid-afternoon? Why ain't somewhere at work hustling? Why ain't somewhere struggling? Okay? That's what a lot of this boils down to. And some of it, for most of the white women, it's going to be racism mixed with classism. But there are some black women who are out there being mean too, as we've seen lately with some of these black women coming on this app talking about Pilates and different bodies that should and shouldn't be in Pilates. That is their proximity to whiteness showing, as well as their elitism, classism showing. So, like I said in the beginning, it was gonna sound crazy, but I was gonna make it all relate. I'm curious as to what y'all thoughts are about this, so please drop down in the comments and let me know. Did I cook, or do I need to get back in the kitchen because the meal is still undone? Okay? All right. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Be safe out there. Bye.
Friend, pick up the phone. We have to talk. Be quiet. Your favorite show is on. Stop doom scrolling and listen to what I have to say. Thank you. Now, I asked a question about people who grew up in racist households, right? Great responses. Love every single authentic, true response. And I asked, like, were y'all not able to watch like black TV shows, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Fat Albert, Good Times, Cosby Show, Family Matters, and a lot of people were like, yeah, no, we weren't. I wasn't, but I snuck. Or, one parent let me watch and another parent didn't. Now, let me ask you a question. For those same parents that you have, are they still like that? And then also, if they are Republican right now, MAGA, maybe not, maybe just Republican and just voted Republican because they didn't want to see a black woman in office, how are they feeling right now? How are they feeling right now? Are they regretting their vote? Are they still ignoring the elephant in the room, even though they're paying double for groceries, even though their insurance premiums may go up, even though like no one is enjoying the world right now, even them? What are they doing? What are they doing? And how do you respond to that? I can't imagine having a parent who is ignorant to the fact that the people in office are shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like the Dollar Tree dictator is literally embarrassing them. These are questions that I need answers to because I can't relate, but I really want to understand.
Another Trump supporter who regrets their vote. Just take a listen.
You think that our Lord wants these children to be starving? And Mr. Trump, I am so very disappointed in you. I voted for you, and you have just turned us into a bunch of hateful, mean, horrible people. And it's just, I know we've got too many immigrants in this country, but my goodness, we don't have to be mean to them. That's not what this country is built on. I probably won't be here for the next election. But my goodness, I'll never, ever vote Republican, and I've been voting for 80 years. I don't know. This country's just going in the wrong direction. It just saddens my heart.
It greatly saddens my heart too. But what I don't understand is that there's actually still Trump supporters out there supporting Trump, saying that there's no one who has changed their vote. There are plenty of people out there who don't agree with what he's doing. And I wish the rest of you would wake up.
Okay, here's the deal. I have been MAGA. I have been full-on MAGA. I supported the tariffs. I was all behind. I was supportive of the immigration actions, all that stuff. Okay, but I have principles. I'm just. I don't think I can't do it anymore. I can't continue with the stuff that's breaking tonight. I can't. You got to have a line. You got to have some kind of humanity. You got to stand for the principles that our country was built on. Okay, so I think I'm done. I can't stand with the guy anymore. If these reports are true, and it hasn't hit mainstream media yet, but I'm sure it's going to, because if it's true that Donald Trump likes pineapple on his pizza, I'm done, man. There's no way. That's un-American. It's just plain un-American. And I'm getting off the red ship if he likes pineapple on his pizza. It's just common sense.
I'm so sorry I voted for Trump. I didn't know he was going to take away Social Security from 150-year-olds. That he was going to defund trans operas in Colombia. If I had known, I would not have voted for him.
The people who voted for Donald Trump, aka MAGA, are now regretting their votes, and that is the best side of TikTok that I ended up on in the past week. So here's part 2 of all the people with all their regrets.
When we standing on business, I'm a big stepper, underground methods.
And now they keep calling me, they kicking me out, and they're breaking my family apart.
Buenas noches.
Still waiting for America to be made great again. It's been what, since January? I voted for him, guess what? Both times. Both times. Forgotten. What the fuck am I gonna do with a Trump phone? I don't need another phone bill. We didn't get a stimulus. We didn't get a dose check. We didn't get no debt relief. No help for rent. No help for your mortgage. No help for groceries. They won't raise our wages. They won't lower prices. We're fucking drowning in debt. And guess what we get? We get a Donald Trump phone. A fucking...
Give me a minute.
I'm making this video because I voted for Trump, and a lot don't think we have the same Donald Trump that we had circa 2016 to 2020. This is not the same man. Somewhere along the way, he lost his way. To deny help to tornado victims. Then I heard he denied further assistance from FEMA to North Carolina. This is not the man we voted for. If you are upper middle class or below, I don't see how any of us are faring well under this president. And how
you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.
Like, how are you guys handling this? Because I can't. Like, they are hunting us down like animals.
Loser!
I voted for Trump 2 times. And I probably will vote for him a 3rd time. I will vote for him a 3rd time. A small business owner who is completely getting rocked by the import taxes, the tariffs. I went from a 2.5% import tax to 28.5%. That is absurd. It is ridiculous. It is crippling my business. I am barely surviving for the past 8 years. Was hoping that the current administration, since they greatly disapproved of increasing the tax from overseas, was going to do away with it, but they have not.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I'm regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
Who voted for Donald Trump and now regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice. I feel...
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped on that.
It's insane. There's 2 things that are insane. One is the targeting of migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites and raiding them. Gardeners.
Donald Trump, listen, man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one.
She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Or just bomb Iran, and everybody forgets
Just bomb Iran, yeah.
Everybody forgets about it.
The only party right now that to me seems America first is the Democrat Socialist Party.
Yep.
So y'all voted red and now you're broke, mad, and confused. So let's talk about it. The young people who voted for Trump and the Republican movement, they are already regretting their vote. And I'm not even going to pretend to be surprised because I knew it would happen. And y'all got to understand it's because this is always the play. See, a lot of young people didn't have the tools to really critically think about the impacts of what Trump's policies would have on their lives. And you know why? Because the American education system was never built for you to think critically. It was built to keep you just smart enough to pass a test, but not smart enough to question power. So when the propaganda machine started pumping, most of y'all didn't even know how to check that stuff to know what was factual and what was a lie. You didn't even know how to look past the shiny slogans, the memes, the TikToks, and actually ask real questions like, how does this policy impact me, my rent, my student loan, my future? And now here you are, under this Trump-led regime, finding out the hard way that Republicans do not have your back. That same party that you thought was about freedom is deciding the books you can read now, what rights you have, and whether you can even afford to survive. And look, I get it. When you're young, it feels like political policies and government and all that stuff, it feels like it's just background noise. You think it's something for old people to just argue about, but you see, it is not just noise. It's your life, boo. And if you don't take this seriously, the folks who do take this seriously, you know that older generation that's been controlling everything forever, they gonna keep stacking the deck against you. So now my question is, now that you are living under the policies that you voted for, are you ready to wake up yet? Are you ready to stop treating government like a joke and start treating it like survival? Because until young people wake up, old people are gonna keep cashing checks on your future.
You know the part about this MAGA H1B1 debate between Musk and Vivek and the disenchanted MAGA supporters who now regret their votes. What's really not being addressed here is Silicon Valley and tech companies in general go out of their ways to recruit students with employees with visas, and it's a clear example of why America is default on educating its citizens, because we're recruiting, whether it's from India or other countries, we're recruiting great minds who deserve an opportunity, so don't get it wrong, but they come from a system that either greatly reduces the cost of higher education or makes it free for many. So they make education accessible. They make it honorable to get a higher education, where America decided when folks with my hues started going to school, starting with Reagan in California, to monetize higher education, to create a wall of accessibility, and then it became just normal. Everything that is predatory about the cost of living in America is built out of a defunct perspective of capitalism, and we're all victims of it. There are plenty of Americans who have the ability to learn and acquire the skills necessary to drive what's needed at these tech companies, but where we fail is the deficit in education and access to education, because we think that you have to earn the right to go to college by being able to pay the high exorbitant fees that have outpaced inflation by almost tenfold. You have to set yourself up to have the audacity to want to earn a quality of life where you're not a slave to your employer, where you can barely survive, so you expect to be compensated fairly. And those things don't go for organizations who are monetized strictly on maximizing shareholder value. That's all that has any significance to them. And then you have all these private equity firms who are buying up and cutting workforces and trying to drive every single penny into the shareholders' pockets without being penalized with rewarding their employees. And that is why they see a benefit to H-1B1 visas, not because they respect the intelligence and the veracity of these people, but it's because they see them as a way to avoid paying Americans and to avoid investing in the education of Americans. And Elon told it straight to your face. They don't care about us. They don't care about us. A lot of MAGAs are learning right now that they don't care about you either. You thought you were in control. They're in control.
Quick question. Where are these liberals seeing or finding Republicans or MAGA or whatever that regret their vote? Where are these people? Where are they located? Because I ain't never seen one. I've only seen liberals say, oh, I've talked to MAGA people that regret their vote. No, you haven't. No, you have not. There's not one person that wishes that they voted for Harris over Trump. Even if they were mad at Trump, they don't wish that they voted for Harris. The only wish that there could be is that there was another candidate to vote for other than Trump. But nobody, 100% of nobody, wishes that they would have voted for Harris. I can tell you that right now. And if they saying it, they lying. They just trying to get some sex or some free food or something. But they did not regret their vote for Trump, wishing that they voted for Harris. I'm just letting y'all know right now. They are lying to you because that is absolutely not true. Nobody regrets their vote for Trump, especially right now. Wishful thinking, sweeties. Wishful thinking.
Farmers who supported Trump are now going on TV doing news segments, crying, saying they're emotionally distraught because ICE has taken up to a third of their workforce.
It's financially as well as emotionally. It takes a toll.
Vincent, you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
He thought the Trump administration was going to focus solely on deporting criminals. It seems immigration officials, he says, are just trying to meet quotas now.
These same farmers were seen last week praying in Oklahoma at a town hall because they said they can't depend on Trump because Trump is not doing what he said he was going to do. He's not taking care of the average everyday American. Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Your racist eyes and your mind forgot that you were still poor and struggling, so you voted for a billionaire who all he cares about are his oligarch friends. And now you're seeing the ramifications of your actions. So now you want to pray. Now you want to talk to the news. You didn't care when you went out and voted for the very thing that is happening to you right now. So I say, kick rocks. I hope you don't enjoy your Saturday. Bye.
Now imagine, this scenario will never happen. This is not the timeline where this shit will happen, okay? But imagine, your MAGA supporting immigrant parent who voted for this shit calls you and says, I'm sorry for voting for this, whatever, right? I can't even formulate a conversation with this individual, what it would be like, because the thought of possibly hearing the word I'm sorry from this person is alien. I don't even think this person knows how to spell sorry. The I am part, lost on him. I know him can't spell that part. So imagine you tell this person a week before the election last year, hey, just to remind you, this man is a 34 count felon, okay? He has lost businesses. He just got tried for basically touching fiddling bitches. And you say you don't care. And the only reason why you would be sorry is because in this person, the only reason why this person will call is because that 401k, that crypto, all that stocks that you've been investing in for the last 25 years just tank. That'll be the only reason why this person would call and apologize. That would be, I'm telling you, we haven't done enough timeline shifts for us to get into that timeline. This motherfucker will go in, he will jump off the safety boat into the sinking ship. The ego and pride be eating this man up.
Are you a white woman? Okay, it's time for the next installment of MAGA presenting. Now, there's some controversy behind this whole series because some women are saying that I'm racist, and accountability is not reverse racism, guys. That's not what this is. What I'm doing is giving indicators. If you are a white woman and you want to know if you are safe, this is from a viewpoint from someone who is a black woman who's been let down by y'all before. So here we go. Starting off strong with the gas station wraparound glasses. You know, where there's sunglasses. It just keeps going even on the side of your head. You're not even looking over there. You can't even see over there. You're not safe if you wear those. I'm sorry. If you have a dog or an animal and the animal's name is Dixie or Ranger, Brandon, Freedom, you're not safe. If you've ever said, like, my cousin's half black, so I'm not racist. Yes, you are. You say stuff like, we need to get back to biblical values. And then you go to like Freedom Rock Church Worship Center of the Latter-day Episcopals. if you are very opinionated but you haven't read a book since high school, I can't. No, you're not safe. Okay, how'd y'all do? Let me know in the comments. Bye.
Magas, we got more. Here we go. I love this. This shit just makes me happy. Clearly, I'm smiling. Dark Vader's fucking happy. Here we go. Listen at this bullshit.
President Donald Trump's approval rating at 100 days is the lowest from any president in 80 years, with just 39% approval and 55% disapproval. Even so, he still beats Democrats when it comes to handling key national issues. ABC News, the Washington Post, and Ipsos conducted that poll. It shows people are especially unhappy with the economy, with many fearing a recession and criticizing his policies. A lot of his
I'm pretty sure you dumb fucks voted for him on the economy. This is what's so great. And this is exactly why I'm so happy, because all you dumb fucks just got shoved up your asshole. You can shove this shit up your ass because you voted for a better economy, because you were pissed off at this guy right here and his poll approval ratings in his first 100 days trumps Donald Trump. So at the end of the day, MAGAs, you fucked your own self, and you can take it in the ass, okay? Because you fucked yourself. So MAGAs, thanks for fucking yourselves, because you just showed ignorance, and I love it.
Jackass from the other day, I didn't know who he was, but he's made a response after he saw my video. So I'm going to let you hear some of what he said as a black conservative, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the other side.
You talking about accountability got someone in their feelings. But let me break down what I mean. This is actually a perfect example of why the black community still struggles. The game is becoming better in building and incentivizing people to want to build more in those areas. That is the conversation we should be having, not complaining about not getting money from daddy government. The biggest difference between him and I is I'm focusing on what we're doing. He's focused on what the government's doing. And that brings me full circle to the entire point of the video I made. If you're not focusing on what you're doing and bettering your life, and you're waiting for the government to fix that problem, and they're not fixing that problem, you will continue to vote for that party because they're telling you they're going to fix that problem when they're not. And that's what black Americans are doing with Democrats. They perpetually vote Democrats, but Democrats are actually not incentivized to fix black Americans' problems.
Now, Jeff, I just found out about you, but let me give you some more data because you don't like that. Number 50, Louisiana ranks number 50 in the nation. We've got a Republican as our governor, a Republican over every other statewide office. Republicans run the state legislature in the supermajority, as well as the Board of Education. So when you say that black people are loyal to Democrats and that we need to get away from the Democratic Party, well, Republicans run Louisiana, Alaska, and Mississippi, and they rank 48, 49, and 50 in the country, but you're still bragging on your party, buddy. Now, Jeff, people like you typically don't have a problem with people who retweet you like Elon Musk having $38 billion in corporate welfare. But if a black person asks for access to healthcare in their community, they're begging in the problem. But see, I'm not like you who built my platform off of talking about black people as a liability. I built my platform talking about black people as assets and bringing resources to the assets that are in black communities so that we can thrive. Now, let me go deeper explaining what I mean when I say run the black community, our money. Earl K. Long Hospital, which was closed by Bobby Jindal, a conservative. Republican Bill Cassidy used to teach doctors at Earl K. Long Hospital. I organized along with others to get an emergency room back in North Baton Rouge after conservatives closed the hospital that Bill Cassidy was teaching people in North Baton Rouge, which eliminated the access to care to over 200,000 people in my community. Why does that matter? Because my 80-year-old daddy lived in that community. He had hypertension, and I cared about his ability to get to a hospital in the event of a heart attack or a stroke. You know, data points that you don't care about, and that's why I called you a jackass, because when you refer to a black community as a liability rather than an asset, you excuse and dismiss the black people like my father, who moved into the same neighborhood I live in today in the 90s. This neighborhood, all black, riding around with my daughter, manicured yards, black folks living in this neighborhood, but their government attempting to move all of the resources that they have paid into to the other side of town. And that sales tax that I talked about, that roads tax, was a sales tax. That roads tax was paid for by all of the citizens of this community. For people who say, well, the white people pay more in taxes. Well, the sales tax is paid by everybody who buys a loaf of bread. 1 penny off your dime every time you go to the store. And if I'm going to spend a dime, I want to make sure that those pennies come back to my community. Now, since you wanted to give a data point on black women in North Baton Rouge, let me go ahead and school you about what I mean when I say the government run us our money. This is me fighting for hundreds of millions of dollars to stay in North Baton Rouge.
Equitable, what is fair? You can't tell us that $110 million investment
is the same as a $40 million investment. That's taking marble floors out of my house and putting vinyl down and telling me you didn't decrease the value of my property. We ain't stupid. Now, I know you all are the experts, but I'm the smartest man in the room, said the jackass. Now the zoo, which is on the border of Baker and Baton Rouge, Baker being the safest city in the state of Louisiana for years on end, a majority black city with a black mayor, with a black chief of police and a majority black council, they were attempting to move the zoo, which the Parks and Recreation Department, quality of life things, was attempting to move to the other side of town, which is majority white. We organized community meetings. We kept the zoo. Now that which was going to be $100 million investment is a $300+ million investment, and 30% of those resources are going to people who look like you and I, even though you don't think like people like me, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Let's keep going. And to be clear, no one is suggesting that the government is stopping us. You brought up Greenwood and the cities that were burned down by white people.
The people in North Baton Rouge could build their community up. Black Americans could build Black Wall Street up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with lynchings and Jim Crow laws from nothing, with no government help. And you know what I'm talking about, and you know it's true. If Black Americans could do that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's zero excuse today, none.
It was the government who permitted them to get away with it. You do know that, right? And it's the government who permitted the state of Louisiana to rob Southern University, which is located in North Baton Rouge, of $1.2 billion over the last 30 years, while we're currently spending $50 million to redo the LSU lakes, which increases the quality of life for the people who live in South Baton Rouge, around LSU, which is majority white. But this HBCU that has the #1 nursing program in the country has been robbed of $1.2 billion. And I guess you don't think that those black folks ought to ask for their damn money. And the reason I know clearly it's a system is because even though our school system is 80% black, and the white citizens said that it was so bad that they needed to start a new city that was 70% white, now they want to send their kids to our magnet schools in their new city, even though they said it was so trash. But every time black people have accrued more political power, they've changed the rules to create a new form of government to ensure that they could maintain power over the tax dollars, the resources, the money. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand how government works. Now you think I'm angry, but I'm not. I'm passionate. And anytime I hear somebody like you discussing the black community like a liability versus an asset, I'm on your ass like white on rice, because I do this work. And I think it's high time we stop letting the propaganda slide and we start educating people against the BS that you all put out there, because otherwise we're going to mislead some people. Now I know you don't care nothing about that, just like you don't care nothing about data, Jeff, because wisdom is chasing you, but you're so fast. Now where I'm from, we got a phrase when we see people like you who are chasing white adjacency. Bless his heart, y'all. Do good. Seek justice. And Jeff, remember, you can sell your people out, but you can't buy them back. Keep pushing. Oh, and when you said this,
zero excuse today, none. You sound like a bitch.
You must have been talking about your mama. I'm from Baton Rouge. You got to come harder than that to offend me.
So this is me cleaning out my classroom because I resigned because I was targeted in my school for my political beliefs. You can't speak as a Republican. You can't speak as a conservative.
I really thought Jubilee was going to be the worst thing I heard from this gentleman. It had to be, because it was going to be last. I thought that was going to be. Did this man say you can't speak as a conservative? I wonder how did Trump win? That's crazy. How did he win and you can't speak as a conservative? He was just doing sign language the whole time. When Byron Donalds used our airwaves to call for the return of Uncle Herschel, would that be speaking as a conservative?
They don't like me talking about that type of stuff, right? They say you're a reflection of the school, and we reflect Democrat values, basically. But they told me my jacket actually looked gay and I need to take it off. It looks feminine and gay, right? I've never been disrespected like this.
Honestly, I think you could take up a new cause combating homophobia. If that's the kind of stuff that they said, I think you could take that and run. No. That's the kind of stuff that you would say. Okay.
Which this school had many times of abuse, right? Because when you sometimes work in these environments, usually when there's a black woman in leadership.
Mm-hmm. They didn't need Jubilee. They just needed you to keep talking. If you want to help us with personal expenses and legal, you can. Oh, he got a whole give, sing, go. Hey man, where your bootstraps? They didn't let you take your bootstraps? Would you? When you left this, when they gave you your box in your 30 minutes, they didn't let you take your bootstraps? But I think it was bootstraps on that jacket though. Just so we're clear, Shiloh Hendricks raised what, over 800 grand? She raised over 800 grand just for slurring a child. That's it. And if you want to know, Black MAGA, if you want to know your value to the MAGA movement as black faces pushing white supremacy, there you have it. Right there. You had to learn as a grown adult that you can't do what they do.
Democrats say Republicans regret voting for Trump. I don't know what Republican y'all talking about, because I'm a Republican and I do not regret voting for Trump at all. If anything, I actually like what he's doing. I think he completed what, like 96% of all of his campaign promises within the first 3 months. Signing executive orders left and right, trying to get illegal immigrants up out of the country. Interest rates are down, gas prices are down, oil prices are down. What are we not liking about him right now? Vietnam is trying to get their tariff from 90% down to 0%. A lot of countries are coming to the table trying to reduce their tariffs. South Korea, Japan's trying to figure out what they're going to do. Companies are moving back to America. You got Honda's trying to build factories in America. You got, even Apple is trying to invest in America. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on to where Democrats feel like Republicans are not supporting the country, the president. I'm supporting the president. I don't know what y'all think. What? Because he put a tariff on China, 25% tariff on China, 25% tariff on Canada, 25% tariff on Mexico, so that they can't send their products to Canada and Mexico and circumvent the tariff. What? Oh, because they put a 34% tariff on us, and we said we're gonna put a 50% tariff on them. Okay. Other than that, what? I'm rocking with him. They want to do a retaliatory tariff. He want to do a 50% tariff. Okay. Let's see how this gonna go. You know what I mean? We are one of the biggest, consumer bases in the world. I think we're going to affect them. I think that's what's going to happen. No, I don't regret voting for my president. None of that rhetoric. Y'all Democrats are trying to sell people and brainwash people into thinking is real. You know what I'm saying? And when this president has really opened up my eyes to the Democratic Party. I kind of knew y'all was shady, but when he had Elon Musk the Department of Government Efficiency do the forensic audit of the Treasury Department, and I seen how much expenditures was going out to terrorist organizations, and y'all got money flying out the window for other countries to make comic books and condoms and all kind of crazy stuff. Oh no, I see exactly who y'all are. Elizabeth Warren, against Elon Musk auditing the Treasury Department. What is going on? You know what I mean? I don't know. The last thing I would want is a Democrat to be in power, to be real with you. So don't think because I'm black, I'm just oh, he's just a Democrat. No. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's going to be pushing the country in a direction that many people always wanted to do. They wanted to bring manufacturing back to America. We're a service-based country. It is what it is. What do we produce? Think about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they need to slap 25% tariffs on steel, 25% tariff on aluminum. Let the market decide who's going to get, you know what I mean, what product now. People are going to start building it here. That's the plan. No, I do not regret voting for Trump. If anything, I'm excited. Every time I look in the news, I'm oh, what are he doing now? He not just sitting around, not doing nothing, hiding. Every time something goes down, you see him immediately in an interview addressing people. They ask him something stupid, he say, oh, this is a stupid question. You know what I mean? He answers just about everything that's being asked. He does not beat around the bush. He tells you what it is. He stands on what he said he's going to do. No, I do not regret voting for my president. And subscribe to the channel so we could talk about more of this stuff. Then y'all know what's crazy? These Democrats that y'all trying to push, Jasmine Crockett. I just seen her say something really insane, right? She goes ahead and she says that, oh, I was like traveling around educating people on illegal immigration and, you know, and why they're needed. Cause you know, like who else is going to be farming? Y'all ain't trying to farm and we done picking cotton. And so what you trying to say? Like illegal immigrants is picking cotton? Like, these are the type of people that y'all trying to push up into the forefront. The Democrats, I feel like y'all have lost touch with y'all base. You know what I mean? And y'all got these lunatic politicians out here as, you know, people y'all pushing. Look at this. Cory Booker spoke for 25 hours, right? And he didn't, in any of those 5 hours, did he say like, oh, y'all should stop throwing Molotov cocktails or destroying Elon Musk businesses or hurting like innocent people, you know, vandalizing their Teslas? Did he say anything like that? I don't think he did. Y'all not interested in anything but pushing TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. That's what the Democratic Party is interested in. And some of y'all logic is just out the window. Y'all don't even know what y'all do. And whether, you know, all this y'all was, oh, the markets is a little destabilized right now. Where were y'all when Biden like was tearing up the country? Where were y'all when interest rates was like almost 8%? Like, where was y'all at when people couldn't afford to buy houses? Where was y'all at when interest rates skyrocketed? Y'all ain't say nothing when that was going on. Like, I'm trying to figure that out. People wanted to buy cars, and even if you had an 800 credit score, like you were still getting a high interest rate under the Biden-Harris administration. Gas prices were high. Where was y'all at? Like, I'm trying to figure that out. No, I am glad Donald Trump is president. I feel like this is the greatest, it's a great economic reset. That's what I feel like it is. And y'all don't know what to do about it. Shout out to Trump. Keep doing your thing. MAGA, it is what it is. Thug life.
42 million people could be going without food by November if there's no resolution, because their SNAP/food stamp benefits will be cut off. Did you know that approximately 40% of the SNAP recipients are children? Children. And majority of the rest are people who are vulnerable. So elderly people, people with disabilities, people who are not physically able to provide for themselves. There are people in our country right now who tell their kids every night that they're not hungry because the SNAP benefits that they get are only enough to provide food for their children. So when their children look at them and say, Mommy, Daddy, Grandma, Auntie, Uncle, why aren't you eating? They're saying, I'm not hungry, because they don't have enough money to buy food for them and their children. I want you to understand that the SNAP benefits that people are already receiving are not enough to feed people and their families. And that doesn't even account for people who live in food deserts, where their local supermarket and the only place that they can get fresh produce is miles and miles away, but people are not receiving pay. So they may not be able to pay their car note. They may not be able to put gas in their vehicle. They may already be having to decide between groceries or paying their mortgage or their rent. They might be on their way to eviction, and the cost of living is already absolutely unlivable. And now people stand to lose the only access they have to food. Scary times.
You voted for Trump?
Yes, I sure did. I feel like I was tricked when you said that you was gonna close the border and go after the gangs, and then you probably only arrest 10 criminals and thousands of working class people. It's shameful. It's shameful what our nation has become. And you don't know what's gonna happen to the kids. You don't know. That's who I'm really worried about. We're talking about thousands. We're not just talking about 3 kids or 4 kids.
So many people chose to go down that rabbit hole to see if change was really possible with this administration, instead of actually doing their research. Because there's no way you wouldn't have seen this coming if you watched the first Trump term. All I know is history is going to look back on these moments where fascism took over and where democracy died. It's probably going to be the title. There's no coming back from this. And I know A lot of people probably have been saying this, but I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but there is no coming back from this. I just don't see it. I mean, look at the generations of people that are still being controlled by people like Lady Gaddis. All these content creators that have came out of nowhere saying the same stuff. And I've said, this was the video I was making earlier. These people are saying this stuff because they're getting paid to. There's money in it. A lot of money that comes from super PACs and dark money that comes from different agencies that don't have to show their name, but they give money to conservative outlets and these white nationalist outlets, and then they keep funding these people. That's why they go to different universities and always looking for someone to engage with. The debate isn't the American thing. What they're trying to do is basically indoctrinate as many people as they can for their cause. This guy here, for example, went to Tennessee State University wearing his MAGA hat. He was really just trying to get as many people to get outraged, because outrage sells. Get bothered, get triggered, and all of that, because they get their phones out and then they go back and forth, and then he keeps the narrative going. He says whatever, gets them all out irate and riled up, while all the views keep going up. This is the playbook of how social media works now, that it does not take a lot to get things going in a way that it goes viral. These people get notoriety. They get noticed by some of the big wigs that are in the Republican Party, and they start giving these people money to keep pushing those narratives, because it's about division now. It's not about anything. When the last time you actually heard a Republican talk about, hey, I want to fix your health care. Hey, I want to see what we can do in your state to make sure jobs can actually give you a livable wage. Hey, I want to make sure that we can get childcare down so mothers can actually get back to work. And you don't hear that. Congress doesn't have to talk about anything useful anymore, because they have these young people out here having useless debates. And in the end, all we have is a bunch of people pissed off, mad on both sides, looking for the next trigger moment, and then black people being the catalyst that push all the new type of Charlie Kirks or Lily Gaddis or all the other ones, Nick Fuentes and all the rest of the people. They use this stuff to catapult their messages, and they've been doing it flawless. Stop falling for this as a trigger mechanism, because anytime you're triggered, anytime you're bothered, anytime it's outrage, it just gives them clicks. That's what they're looking for. These people would not be around, the Laura Looms and everybody else wouldn't be around y'all if this was not a financial gain at all. If we took the money out of politics, we wouldn't see them. We have to get to a place where we unplug ourselves from judging others about what they say online to get us triggered. It's like a person standing on the edge of a cliff and they're screaming all types of stuff about you, and you know it's the edge of a cliff, but you're going over there because you're interested in what the person's saying versus the danger and where they're at. The whole point of them getting you over there is to engage with them in a dangerous situation. It's a no-win situation. Look where we're at. Are we winning yet? Doesn't matter how much we talk, how much we protest, how much we walk. It's always the same. The top doesn't get to do anything. They don't have to. They just push all the stuff and let the strings keep going while everybody else is doing their bidding. And we're still out here struggling.
What's up, beautiful and amazing souls? In today's video, guys, we are talking about MAGA voters, MAGA supporters, black MAGAs to be specific. because in the past few months there has been shift and people are regretting being part of MAGA movement. People are regretting being part of people that voted and installed the current government, and they're not happy with the administration, of course, because a lot of things didn't go their way. So I don't know if they voted for identity, for political reasons, or for the policies. I don't know. Probably they thought it would favor them, but at the end of the day, nothing came out to favor them. If you look at the massive job losses that is happening currently, it's the black people who are losing massively. You could see some other people even being fired just because of their association to a certain political party. It's really unfair, and of course we cannot tolerate with such kind of thing. We find it as a backward thing, and given that this is happening in a first world country, I don't know those of us who live in third world countries, so what do you think we're gonna take, or understand the whole situation? Because we thought first world countries is like 100 years ahead of us, and that everything comes in, it's easy for them to understand and cope up with everything, and these tiny things is never in their hands or in their minds. But imagine when it comes to politics, it's like it's the same all over the world, like kind of similar how it's being strategically put in place, how it is being planned. You can see it's kind of the same. It's only that probably the voting system and the structure of doing things is kind of different, but when it comes to the part of convincing people, it's just the same thing. It's a matter of giving people hopes. It's a matter of telling the voters about your agenda, about what you're planning to bring once they elect you. And we add the minority of black people who voted for Trump. And before that, I mean, some of them even we could hear from the video, from the clips that we just played here, that they just voted because, yeah, it was just popular. It's not like there's anything important. But others, they looked into it clearly when they heard that the economy is going to be improved and be at a better place, when they heard that they're going to chase away the immigrants and their place in work will be secured and they will have jobs. I mean, those are some of the policies that really made them vote for this particular administration. Shock on their eyes. They couldn't believe what they saw immediately the president was sworn in, because everything changed. I mean, it's like things turned around, and the most hit, of course, were the farmers. And if we talk even about the farmers, we have the black farmers there. I know it's only white farmers who always come out and speak, and they're complaining, but of course we have seen the chairman of the association of farmers of black farmers in America. He has had a couple of interviews. Of course, he's speaking on behalf of the rest of the black farmers, but now you see it's really affecting them, and some have even come out openly to say that we are regretting that we voted for this guy. And okay, some are still supporting him, which is okay, by the way, because at the end of the day, politics is something that you can never really put it in your heart, because yeah, it's all about interest. When it comes to politics, interest only. There is nothing personal. I don't know if you've ever noticed something like that in politics all over the world. There is nothing personal. It's all about interest. Okay, what do I get if I do this and that? And people never really take it to their hearts, and they really clinch into someone. Even if it's like loyalty, it's a loyalty that comes with something, not just loyalty that you don't get anything, unless you are not as smart to understand this game. But anyway, back to our original topic, which is discussing the reason as to why the black MAGA voters are shifting heavily. So in the next coming general election, I don't know who will be on the MAGA side and on the Democrat side, but I know most people will go back to because with blue you'll find that restrictions are not that tight. I mean, you can easily go to America, do 1, 2, 3, and go back. I mean, surviving is easy, but now it's very difficult because once you just go to the street, you walk like you really fear because probably your neighbor might have set you to the ice or to the police that your visa just expired the other day and they need to deport you. And in the system in America is real, I don't know, funny or what, because it's just a number, or the social number, the service number or something, social service number, something like that. Once they have it in the system, like they literally know everything about you. Unlike in developing countries where the only thing that identifies you is a identification number. Other than that, the government isn't really able to know so much about you unless you are of interest to them. Then they can dig in, and of course they can easily find out several data about you. Otherwise, it's really difficult to track you if you are in a developing country because our data is not in the system. And I think that is why even it's easy to rig elections in not in Kenya but in developing countries, because this data, okay, once probably you lose your life, and in a natural manner, of course, or an accident or probably disease, they don't remove your name from, they don't unregister you unless there is some properties that are being followed here and there by your relatives, and then probably it can get there. But most people, when they just pass on, they are buried by their family members. They don't follow up on some of the things, and they don't end up really being deregistered from the ID systems, the identification number systems. And you'll find that most identification cards, they're being used here and there for some activities that you can guess. So the black MAGA voters, I will say that at this point they are really regretting, like extremely regretting, like majority of them. Of course, there we have these few ones that life has really moved on well for them and they have not been affected that much. But of course, so in terms of jobs, I can guarantee you most of them are really affected, because the tariffs is something that it does not affect you as an individual directly, but it affects the organizations that are employing the citizens of America. And yeah, they're just forced to either reduce, or the companies, because I mean they just have to do redundancy, because it's just because of the policies that Trump is instilling. And anyway, guys, thank you so much if you watched the clip up to this point. I appreciate your presence, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.